You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
Man.
Are you gonna pay for this?
Nah, you got it, bro.
Okay. Alright, men aren't men these days anymore. I gotta pay for everything, I guess.
What? You sneak this in? Like,
no, I'm serious.
I'm saying you got it, bro. Like, it's $1. Pay
I don't
for
even
it.
know. Do y'all take Apple Pay? Okay, well, I left my debit card in the car, so I guess we can go.
Damn.
I'm serious.
That's
Sorry about that.
unfortunate.
Maybe if I had a real gentleman, he would have just paid for it, but whatever. Thank you.
Bro, so
You just embarrassed me.
why you don't got your card?
Because I left it in the car. Why you can't be my man and make sure I got all my stuff? You just made me embarrass myself.
Now you talking about your man. Just a couple seconds ago, you was arguing with me and doing all this extra shit.
Hey, because you stay doing little stuff. I don't understand.
Alright, bro. Like, it's cool, bro. I'm not tripping, bro. Like,
Okay. You're not tripping.
you just don't got an orange juice. Okay.
You just made me embarrass myself in Walmart.
I didn't make you do nothing.
Yes, you did.
You don't got your card. That's on you.
Okay, so why you couldn't pay for
I
it?
don't gotta pay for your shit.
Bro.
I'm broke.
You broke.
All right, if I'm broke, then stop talking to me then.
If he's broke, then she must be homeless because she's the one begging for a man to pay for.
Women started that. Women started using the term real men in order to manipulate men into being more useful to them. Okay? The only time you have ever back in the day heard real man is when a woman was complaining about a man because she wanted him to do something that served her purposes. So, you would hear, well, a real man would accept my children even if they're somebody else's kids. Well, a real man would pay for this.
And it's exactly why I and everyone else here have been taking it back. Guys, every word that came out of this dude's mouth is 100% true. Feminists, in their quest to distance themselves from traditional roles, completely forgot who they're supposed to be. You look at a crowd during any of these meaningless protests against an establishment they themselves played a role in changing, and now they have the audacity to try and redefine who we are in the process. In a nutshell, misery loves company, and they continue to try and make men forget who they are so they can find solace in the idea that everyone around them is just as lost as they are. Now, obviously, their effort to do this hasn't been a success at all. In fact, it's been a cataclysmic failure, and that's because we never lost our identities. We know what a real man is. We've known this whole time. And because of this, we have a pretty good grasp on what the modern woman has become.
That's what I had for breakfast the other day.
Oh, God.
Candy and water.
Should've known. What was that, like third time this week?
Not this week.
Month? Aren't you, like, only allowed to take so many of those before you're just, like, infertile?
I'm pretty sure you're only supposed to take, like, 4 a year.
And you ran
I can't
today?
count how many times I've taken a plant past year.
It's like that.
It's like that.
Time for class is over.
Because men really will sling their schlong all around the city.
Baby, listen.
But then when they get with you, you can't have.
Let's talk about it. Why do you think that is?
Because they don't want what everybody else has had, which is cool.
Why? But why? Because to your point, like, if everybody's had me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like what you was used goods too. But so it's not okay. So this is why I think.
Okay.
So because if everybody's had you, quote unquote, their homeboys will know. It's not like you're not a prize to them, maybe. Yep, you're gonna say it in a whole bunch of fancy, cute words, but that's what it is.
But I think it's two things. I think number one, men relative to women have to pay a toll to get access, right? Like, so let's say Steve and Mary, right? Steve has had sex with 100 women that were not prostitutes. Mary has had sex with 100 men who are not prostitutes, right? For Steve to have gotten access to that many women, Steve has something that 100 women want. Either Steve is exceptionally sexually gifted, either Steve has money, either Steve has game, or whatever the case may be. But Steve has something. But for Mary to have opened herself up to 100 men, she lacks something.
Because
Get ready for it, ladies, because here it comes. Real men understand the biological basics. I've said it plenty of times before on this channel, but men are the providers and women are the receivers. This applies to food, finances, and even what happens before the door closes. We're mammals. That's what the mating dance is. Truly, the only thing that is traditionally the female responsibility is whether or not the proposition is to be accepted. Women like to think that they are driving in the same lane as men in this category. Today, in the modern landscape, they rack up more bodies than an Amazon warehouse, and it has primarily damaged them more than it has the Western male. By abandoning what gives them value, they've effectively removed all of their appeal. In other words, they've basically become Mount Everest. Sure, plenty of people still try and reach the top, but with each climb, the value of the achievement decreases. A lot of sensible people do the research, notice that there is a line longer than what's found at a new theme park, hear about how hikers are suffocating just waiting to get to the peak, and often make the sensible decision to explore other options. And the crazy part, perhaps when women hear us say it, is that we've known this before we even pasteurized groceries. Arguably before the first candle was even lit. All we had to do was look at the patterns.
And you know what? I don't like to date my type of guy anymore because I feel like it's really boring because he treats me so good, which, like, common sense, like, you want to be treated good from a guy. But when you get treated good, it's kind of like boring. And don't hate me, but I do love toxic. And I don't mean like super bad, but I like some spice in my life. And yeah, that's why I kind of don't like my type of guys anymore. I like somebody who, like, I don't mean mistreats me in a bad way, but you know what I mean by toxic? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Have I told you guys the story about in the first month of me and Dave dating? I was at his apartment and he was going to go get a Subway and took my order and I got a foot long and he came back with a foot long for me and a 6-inch for himself.
Oh,
and I
that's
was like,
not okay.
You can't do that.
That's not okay.
It was so dark. I was really upset.
These women thrive on creating drama. So ladies, ready for the next lesson? Real men don't encourage the nonsense. When a man gets off a 12-plus hour shift, whether it be at a mill, a mine, or in a cubicle next to someone who refuses to wear deodorant, the last thing on his mind is, hey, I could really go for an exhausting mind game right now. And yet, that's all the modern woman seems to be interested in offering. Working in this environment, I've seriously lost count of the stories I hear regarding hard-working guys who got the message too late, being locked in a pleasureless marriage with a complete dumpster fire that has done nothing all day other than harbor enough resentment to unleash a 4-hour lecture, one that is delivered to the only person keeping a roof over their heads and food on the table. It's a fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and I know everyone watching feels the same way. Like, you couldn't hate someone enough to put them in this situation. Which is exactly why any man that's run the gambit will have nothing to do with this pity nonsense. I mean, come on, the internet exists. Everyone's aware of the opportunities that are out there if you just focus and keep moving. Why the hell would one sacrifice all that for 2 weeks of rolling in the hay and a lifetime of nagging? And when you get down to it, for feminists, for modern women, it's a matter of mentality.
When a woman is not raised with her father, the errors in her feminine thinking have no balance. Hence, she has confirmation bias. She thinks of something, runs the idea by her mom, or she has a disagreement with her little boyfriend in high school, and her mother says, yeah, you're right, of course you're right. Because the little girl is thinking with a feminine mind, the mother too is thinking with a feminine mind, and they validate one another, thus driving deeper into feminine delusion. The male mind is not perfect. The female mind is not perfect. The male mind tends to be pretty good at logic and self-reflection. But together they balance each other really well, but in the absence of the male mind, the female mind goes completely insane.
I can't wait to see the final product.
Sometimes the father can't reach them, and if this is the case, no one will. And that's the problem. Depending on where you're sitting, real men understand that behavior is everything. The masculine journey is a real trial by fire for most. Maybe the girl in high school or college is cheating, maybe the mother of your children ran off to make victim TikTok clips, or maybe you just found yourself a victim of the collateral damage these crazies threw at someone else. However, and whenever the man got there, the point is that he now recognizes the signs. Real men know that there's a code for everything. Saying you're open and worldly is a sign of body count. Saying you're strong and independent means you're unwilling to submit. And being a strong mother, well, that one's obvious. Just get your things and leave out the back. Additionally, so many chicks out there have a glaring flaw when it comes to their general attitude towards things. They use code words again like challenge or direct, but all this means to us is that you've proven to the world that you are utterly incapable of change, and that if the request ever came to the surface for you to do so, you'd throw a tantrum that would make a toddler blush. For feminists, this is seen as a cardinal sin. Men are supposed to, and we've heard a number of them say this on Man Guide, sit down, shut up, and provide. There's no way men will encourage that insanity.
You gotta keep me happy because I will cheat. Well.
Is she having a stroke?
A cannot be controlled by holds the most value, because some really do think that they is everything. They have absolutely nothing of value to contribute to a relationship, or a man who has everything that they need. Why would a stable man, has his own house, his own car, a good job, and, his own money, his own motion completely, what do he have to listen to a really have nothing going on but for herself? Certain look for those type of men who lack all of those things because control. Puppet master, she could pull your strings, or you not listening, or you not acting right. Get out. Give me my keys to my car.
Scott, I need you to translate it.
When was the last time you was in a relationship?
To be honest with you, 16 years.
How come it's been 16 years? Come back. Okay. So why did you pop his balloon?
I don't find him attractive.
You didn't find him attractive and you didn't find him attractive, right? So what is your type?
I kind of like gorgeous men.
Gorgeous men. A rating from a scale, like would you
10 plus.
You wanted somebody that's 10 plus. Mm-hmm. Wow. So you typically date 10 plus men?
Mm-hmm.
I believe she's trying to date beyond how should I say, beyond a standard. You have to come down to your level, and be realistic with your goal. Because if you're not, then it's like you're living in La La Land. This is reality. This is the real world. We ain't here to joke. We're here to speak the truth. And she needs to cut our coat according to her size.
He's right about Shamu over there, but let's be honest, all of this was an act to run from deep-seated insecurities. And here's another thing, ladies. Real men don't feed delusions. You might be able to go to the bar after a breakup and create a story like you just came back from a hero's journey, even though the only accurate part is that you might look like a hobbit, but the next man that comes into frame will see right through it, which is why you'll be damned to be single for a very, very long time. How you see yourself or how your friends supposedly see you is not a reflection of how the world sees you. Men go their whole lives facing a long series of judgments. I've seen 65-year-old dudes on construction sites that handle enough criticism to make most chicks hop in a river. And here's the thing. Because men are repeatedly baptized in reality every day, we understand it far more than a woman could ever fully understand. We don't have the rose-colored glasses, we just see the truth. All of these Disney princess delusions that you bring to the table, we know it's nonsense, especially by the time you've hit the wall. Because the first thing we ask in our heads is, why hasn't she been picked up yet? What went wrong? Without fail, every time a question related to that is actually asked, men are met with very illuminating excuses. And it's long, long before we're certain about who was the real problem. Of course, that's real men. Unfortunately, we now have to see the description of the quote, real man description you insist that we are all failing to achieve.
You have simps, right?
Yeah.
In China, we have this term called spare tire. A spare tire is this guy who's like, he's never gonna get the girl. Maybe 1 out of 10,000 chance the car broke down, you're gonna use that tire.
Just to get you to the next place to get a better tire.
To get a real tire.
Damn, dude, alpha.
That's a brutal way to objectify men. I'm like, yeah, do you know who come up with it? Chinese men. They would use it as a verb, like, I was spare tiring for this girl.
Yeah, because nobody appreciates the spare tire. The spare tire is to get to the next destination. It's just the most temporary thing in the world.
Women are the future. Like, we're going to clean all this shit up, not just the homeless crisis, but the wars and all that stuff. Women need to take their rightful place as the ones running shit. Women are as close as you're going to get to God. Men can build buildings, write songs, I don't know, do expeditions to Antarctica or whatever. It's all cool shit. I'm not bashing on men. Try creating life in your womb.
Mm-hmm.
Try creating life. My mother was the closest thing I ever got to experience to God. Whether she was a good mother or not is irrelevant. My mother created me. Women need to be president. Women need to run the world.
Wait till this guy finds out that those exact women he obviously worships find his disingenuous pandering extremely unattractive and revolting.
Jeez, what a bitch.
Well, see, that's the frustrating thing. It's not that I can't get the second date. I can't get the first. You know, so it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to modify, because it's not like I'm getting there and then getting turned down. Like, no one's giving me a chance. Is there something about me that is so wrong that people won't even give me a first date? You can tell me.
It's not wrong, but you're intimidating.
Why am I intimidating? Because I'm fat? Because I'm a heavy-set lady?
No, because you're so confident and smart and sexually charged.
There's nothing wrong with you?
He said that there's more to come.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're definitely better now than what you were before, I'm assuming. I'm assuming you've grown as a person.
Stop talking. Okay, you don't have any constructive criticism.
Whitney's been a good friend to me, but like she kind of needs to grow as a person. Like I've changed as a person in 10 years, like tremendously. I've really tried to, you know, I've gone out of my way. I've tried to do the hardest things to be a better person. And she kind of needs to grow up and, you know, realize what her options are.
I think you need to take the pressure off, be a little less picky, stop anticipating that you meet your husband on the next date you go on, and just go on some fun dates.
She was enormous.
We've always been told there's one of two choices. You can have a beta or an alpha, and nobody wants the beta when you're a strong female, or maybe most of us don't, right? Yeah. So we're always going for alphas, and alphas are like, I need you to be submissive, and they're super competitive with us, and we have a lot of challenges.
Yes.
Later, I discover the Sigma. The Sigmas do not compete with their women. They want their women to be strong and independent. It doesn't mean they're not being gentlemen and chivalrous. They're still showing up that way, but they're a bit of a lone wolf. They're natural leaders. They kind of sit in the background. They get pulled to be leaders and run things because of their natural leadership skills.
Right.
However, they're not in front of the room saying, I'm the big dog. I'm the one, you know, who's got to do it. Like, they're not leading in that way.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the relationship with women, they're like, please rise up. Let's be a power couple. No problem. 100%. I'm still going to lead where, you know, I'm going to lead. Yeah. But they allow the woman to have the space, and there's not that competitive energy that causes a lot of problems for strong women.
Let me guess. She's single? Yup. 3 clicks and single. Also, this Sigma thing is getting out of hand. I'm sorry, it's gotta stop. Women are just using it now like this one here as a substitute for their previous overused term. Ladies, here we go. Ready? Real men don't bend to trends of submission. The feminist West believes, or at least tries to propagate, the idea that simps are the only real men left. That a man who wears an apron and decorates the table with flowers every morning is the player in our universe. But that's just a load of bullshit. We all know it. We've seen it. In fact, not too long ago, we dove into an article about progressive guys and how their relationships, no matter where they are in the world, are 30 to 50% more likely to fail. Why? They're not real men. Ask any dude that is actually a dude. They're just not. And like I said, these women who say this is the dream guy don't feel that way either. They get repulsed when a male shows chivalry to someone who doesn't deserve it, because deep down, they know that the guy across from them is a jellyfish, someone who will bend to absolutely any force that comes through the door. Moreover, the only guys that play these cringeworthy games are just trying to cheat the system just like women. None of them believe this crap. They're just willing to debase themselves because, in their minds, it's a lot easier to abandon their manhood than it is to go through the struggle that makes a man a real man. When it comes to actual real men, they are constant, and that always pisses the feminists off.
Is it insecure of a man not to like or want you to dress sexy in order for you to be his wife?
What's sexy?
What I got on, like what I got on right now.
Oh, let me, I gotta get a good look at you. Let me see, where your shirt at? Kitty, what do you think?
I think that sometimes some of y'all women really don't understand how territorial men are. It's different if you were covered up, but baby, you got tape on. So yes, of course, a man who knows how men are going to look at you, knowing that there's going to be men who are going to be predators or going to pursue you, he's right for saying that. That's not meaning that he's insecure, he's territorial. That's a man's nature, and that's absolutely okay. It's your responsibility as his woman to understand his nature and to also have boundaries with yourself, knowing what you are exposing yourself to. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be quick. I'm so glad I can have conversations with my husband because I asked him, we had a deep conversation. I said, what is it about women that will make you not wife her? And the first thing he said, the way she presents herself. That's coming from a man. Men will tell you that if you dress provocative, they're going to see you as an object. Stop calling men insecure. That is their God-given right to say, I don't want my woman to present herself out here because not only is she a representation of me, she's a representation of herself.
Please to help me with my rucksack. Let me tell you the tier. The top tier is if you have a family and your family adores you, you have the highest status of almost any man on planet Earth. No matter how rich anybody else is, no matter how wealthy they are, no matter what Bugattis they drive, if you have 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids, and they all adore you and so does your wife, you're the envy of the fucking world.
Which is why all of this can be summarized with a single statement. Real men, traditional men, have not changed, and they cannot be redefined. Guys, we all know that there is so many new arbitrary terms and rules that get thrown into the feminist rulebook every hour of the day. Real men, girl power, these were the original buzzwords. It's a whole new game now. There are so many new ways to define every aspect of life that even the people following these women are berated because they failed to get the latest software update, and they really only have themselves to blame. And how the hell is that supposed to be feasible if these chicks can't even take care of themselves? Men, real men, this isn't meant to be a melodramatic tirade. If anything, we have every reason to be optimistic. Feminism is the serpent that eats its own tail. They failed in their objective to redefine who we are. By walking away, as we've continued to see, the problem is just fixing itself. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want to wish you tremendous success, and I want to say I appreciate you. So don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment to have a chance to win, and hit that subscribe button for daily videos. And if you could take a quick sec to subscribe to the second channel, so we can all be sure that our message will keep on reaching the new men out there. I appreciate all the support so far, guys.